Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, we're back, babe.
We're back.
Welcome back to Love and Real Estate. And we are happy to be back. We have been on a bit of vacation for the last week. We had a very wonderful vacation.
Yeah, you treated me. It was my birthday. I celebrated my 21st birthday.
This guy has all kind of jokes tonight, I see.
No, but
we're
seriously.
starting off with a little bit of foolery.
Yeah, I mean, you try to up your age.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to get to 21, so.
Okay, I got you.
I celebrated my 21st birthday.
Okay.
And my lovely wife, she took me on this wonderful, wonderful trip.
Yes, the Chateau Elan.
Chateau Elan.
That's in Brazelton, Georgia.
In Brazelton, right.
Remember, we were saying Brazelton, and the lady said, "Oh, Miss Walker, it's Brazelton." Sorry.
But I had a wonderful time. Thank you, babe, for that wonderful trip.
Yes.
So if you've never been, hey, great place to visit, the Chateau Elan.
Yes, Chateau Elan. It's a winery and a spa, and it's just all things fun and relaxing.
Right.
And so you never really take off, so this was really good for me to see you really just chill.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful. Well, that kind of leads us into tonight's podcast, because we talked a lot about that going and then coming back, that we would dedicate this series, this show tonight, to marriage.
That's correct. So the entire show we're dedicating to marriage.
Yes.
So this is Love and Real Estate, and this podcast will be on love.
On love.
Dealing with marriage.
Yes.
So we want you to, call in.
Yes.
Please comment if you have any questions or anything, so we can address your questions. There's a number you can call as well.
Yes.
So please do that as we dive into marriage,
Yes.
which is a very interesting topic.
It's a body of a lifelong work. It's an art.
How long have you had the privilege to be married to me?
The privilege, right. So I've been married to you for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So I sometimes say 25 years to life. You know how people get 25 years to life? And so, the good thing is I'm living it freely in marriage. So, that's
Right.
I'm not in hostage for 25 years. It's a good place in terms of that. So,
Right. So
Yes.
let's dig into this. Let's talk about marriage and why we are so passionate
Yes.
about marriage. I mean,
Right.
you've
Right.
been married for 25 years. One could say,
Doodle dad,
same
doodle dad.
person,
Right.
25 years. I mean, how can y'all still be happy and loving
Yes.
and want to see each other
And work together full time.
we work together full time, so
7 days a week.
so I pretty much see this woman the majority of the day.
Yes.
I see her lovely face.
Yes.
But let's talk about why we're so passionate about marriage.
So let's just talk about our shirts, because I think it jumps off of this. We go back to the biblical principles of marriage.
Man, my
so we
chest
got these.
is so big.
We got
These words, okay?
we got these shirts at a marriage conference that we were a panelist, and so we've kept them, and we went and dug them out today. In terms of
Yours
this, and it says, "I love my husband," and yours says, "I love my wife."
I love my wife.
And it's Mark 10:9. Did you look up the scripture, babe?
I know this. Everybody knows this
Okay,
scripture.
well, go ahead and dive in.
Let me
Let's
just
talk
look
about
it up.
No, I thought you were going to be Mr. Bible Buff. I know this scripture. Well,
Everybody knows that.
Let's hear what
Wait
the
a minute,
scripture
I had
is.
it. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. Go
Anybody,
ahead and pull out your 3G phone.
But anyway, it
Right.
says something to the effect. I know what it says.
Okay.
It says, what God has joined together,
Yes.
let no one separate. Something
Okay,
like that.
wonderful. Are
Yeah.
you sure that that is Mark 10:9?
That's it.
Okay,
If
well,
I'm wrong, that's right? Okay.
Okay. Well, at any rate, so I'm not going to even put myself out there like that, because I would have to go look it up on my phone
I
to
think
be
that's right.
sure.
Hold on.
But at any rate, so I'm going to let
That's
the broker
right.
just hang his hat on that. But I think we're so passionate about marriage because we got to really share some things. We're going to share a little bit of our testimony. We're passionate about marriage because we could have not been.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even though we've been married for 25 years, when we hit year 10, we suffered kind of I would say, since we in housing, we suffered the termites of the marriage.
It was probably more like a fire that burned the house down. So,
Okay, okay. So natural disaster.
Yeah.
Tornadic winds.
But
But
we, in year 10, we've married 25 years.
Yes.
Year 10,
yeah.
we found ourselves at the door of the big D word,
Yes.
divorce. Yeah. This couple here, I mean, we were headed that way. You know, didn't know where it came from. We were at the time, we were living in a beautiful house that we built. You know, we had 3 beautiful girls. Things were going great, so we thought. And the marriage, you know, the devil just snuck in, and you know, the marriage started to fall apart.
And he came to kill and destroy.
Yeah,
He did.
he was trying to destroy our marriage. So what? When we decided that, hey,
Yeah.
you know, we don't look like we're gonna be able to.
Yeah, I remember where I was. I remember us getting on 220 to go see our pastor at the time, which was Jerry Young. And we were going to go and talk to him about...
Right, because
we had made the decision that we were going to get a divorce.
We did decide to get some help, at least talk to our pastor at the time.
At New Hope.
At New Hope, which was Pastor Young. And so we drove there, and he wasn't there.
He happened to be at the Baptist convention.
At the convention. And so...
and then we got on 220, and we saw, because back then they had all these signs up and down 220 about divorce, that you could get a no-fault divorce for $4.99, nothing to do, just go file it, and everybody
like we're getting
call
all
it
these
quits.
signs that this is the way to go.
And so we headed down 220, and you said maybe we should go and see your uncle's pastor at that church. No, you said at that church because you didn't know that church that he goes, because we didn't even know where he went. I mean, we knew where he went, but we didn't have the name in our head. And so we and I said, who's going? This guy? I said, that pastor's not going to see us. We don't even belong to this church. And we just picked up the phone and called, and he saw us immediately.
Yeah,
that was Bishop Ronnie Crudup Jr. Senior. Bishop Ronnie Crudup Senior.
You know, and the rest is history. To say now, it was a lot of work. I think what got us through it was the fact that we did want to try to work it out. You know,
because we never not loved each other. We just didn't know how to be married.
We didn't know how to be married.
And we had suffered some circumstances that caused us to be in that kind of place.
Exactly. And those are some things we'll talk about. But you know, we got through it. We made it through it, and you know, thank God we did. That we put forth the effort. And I would say that to anybody that's, you know, maybe having some marriage struggles in your marriage. Maybe you at the door of divorce. You're looking at a couple 15 years later, after being at the door of divorce.
That's right, 15 years later.
That we're still together, and you know, our marriage is even healthier.
Yes.
But like with anything, you got to put some time into it. You got to nurture the marriage. If you're trying to grow anything, a business, right?
That's right.
Or anything, you got to work at it.
That's right.
And
I would have to say what happened to us, because we can tie this all into real estate, is we had to work on our foundation.
Yes.
So just like a house sits on top of a solid foundation, what we had to work on was the foundation of that house.
Right.
And so the foundation was our relationship with Christ. The very first thing we had to dive in and understand was what was our relationship directly with God.
Right.
So that we could be able to see each other in the lenses of Him to be able to operate in a marriage. And so I think that was the most superior thing, because we had never looked at each other like that. We'd always looked at each other as, okay, I'm married to you, you're married to me. My kids come first, my work comes first, and then Felix, I'll get to you when I can. You know, your needs, I'm interested in meeting them, but at the same time, there's so many things before you. So order was important.
And I think we lose, as men, as women, we lose sight of what's important. And sometimes, as in our case, once we looked at our marriage, you know, for me, being a man, at the time, you know, I thought that, you know, my responsibility was to, you know, provide. Long as I'm bringing home the bacon and I'm providing, then that was it.
Yeah.
Then this woman should be happy.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
That's it. That's all I needed to do was provide, and then she should be happy. But you know, that was so far from the truth, is what we discovered. You know, our marriage falling apart because, hey, you know, and we'll talk about those
Right.
3 levels.
Yeah, those 3 levels. We were operating. There's, one of the things we learned in marriage counseling, and let me just say this: it's okay and good for you to have a good marriage counselor. Whether you don't, it's kind of like insurance. It's kind of like, I don't need it, but when I need it, I need it. I need it to survive.
Right.
And so I think it's important for people not to be shunned by the fact that they have to raise their hands as husband, as wife, and say, hey, I need some help. And I need a third party to come in that's a good, healthy third party, not just anybody. Somebody that is really interested in seeing the marriage be healthy.
Right.
And so whether it be your pastor or someone you pay, I think it's important, because one of the things that we learned early on is the order of marriage. We learned that a marriage operates on 3 levels. A marriage operates on the physical, emotional, and let me back up, the spiritual, physical, and emotional levels. We had never been talked about that.
Yeah,
and when you're younger, your parents don't sit you down and say, or at least most parents don't sit you down and say, hey, this is how you're going to operate when you get in a marriage. Because sometimes we come from different backgrounds. You came from a 2-parent home. Y'all went to Disney and all kind of, fun things. And I came from a 1-parent home. I came from a single mother who was always conscious about providing. And so, when I got into the marriage, my ultimate thought process was that I'm going to just sit back, and I have hit the golden egg with this guy, and he's going to provide, and I'm going to set my needs to the side, and not ask for much. I guess I didn't ask for a lot, but hey, at any rate, we were operating not in that right order. We didn't have all those things, those levels in place.
So you speak of levels or that marriages would operate on.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned spiritual, physical, and emotional. Those are the 3 levels that we discovered. Now, we didn't know that at the time. And so when we analyzed our marriage, we had to see, okay, how were we operating?
What level were we operating on? What would we operate on the most?
There was no spiritual.
No.
Even though we both raised in the church or whatever, at the time, I was focused in my business, focused on providing. We rarely, maybe we'd go to church once a month.
We would go to church when something went wrong.
And
then we would go and throw money at God, like our tithes.
Give him $500, like, here, God, here's $500,
make it right,
man.
Father.
Cook it, fix it.
Fix it, Jesus.
And so we didn't have that spiritual
grounding. No, we have a spiritual foundation. And then,
so there was the spiritual level wasn't there.
No.
The physical level, I think, was there.
Yeah, we were like rabbits. I mean, but I mean that was what we found joy in.
Yeah, it made me happy. So, but physical.
I mean, we've always been attracted to each other.
Physical is not all sex.
No, that's right. That's exactly right.
But that is important in a marriage.
And then emotional, we did not get each other's emotional needs.
Emotional was wasn't there.
That's where we were probably feeling the most.
So so there it was. Out of those 3 levels that makes a marriage really, really healthy, function and healthy.
Run. It's like the engine.
We were only operating on 1. Okay, and thus the marriage started
collapsing.
to collapse.
That's right. That's right.
Out of nowhere.
It was
just like, what?
Yeah.
Divorce?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like you. I don't like you.
Right.
And just want to say all these mean things to me.
Did you just say I said all the mean things to you? Okay, but at any rate, so here we go. So here's where we landed. One of the biggest pivotal moments in our whole marriage counseling. Well, I would say one of, because it was several big moments, but one of the biggest moments, and we're going to talk about this. Well, I'll introduce it and we'll talk about it after the break. But one of the biggest pivotal moments in our marriage was the triangle diagram.
Yeah.
And it was God at the top and you and I at each side. Right. And I'll never forget, Bishop said, what kind of relationship do y'all have individually with Christ?
Right.
And that was a pivotal moment, because he said to us, there's no way that you're going to be married and happily married if you don't have a true and genuine relationship with God. Because it's God that you got to have a unilateral relationship with in order to be able to deal with each other. Man, that was so powerful.
That was powerful.
That was life-changing for us.
It was life-changing.
Yes.
And, we'll talk about how important that spiritual into your unilateral relationship with God is in order for you to be able to deal
with a married person. That's right, with a spouse.
Right?
It's so important.
Exactly.
But look, we're running into a break. We do breaks really well around here. We can just kind of keep up with time. So we can't wait to dive into more of that, the spiritual structure of the marriage.
Yes. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
This beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in Hathaway Lake. Walking distance to the pool and lake. This home sits on a large corner lot with lovely landscaping. Part of pine floors in the living, dining, kitchen, and master bedroom. Separate his and her vanities and separate closets in the master bath. Separate dining office nook make a great use of space. Beautiful custom built-in china cabinet in the eat-in kitchen. Window treatments and refrigerator to remain. Covered patio in the back is great for cookouts, and it's a fully fenced backyard. Call Melissa Faith Payne with W Real Estate, 601-499-0952 or 601-953-5587. W Real Estate, LLC.
Welcome to your new home, 122 North Perkins Street. This 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath, plus guest house, man cave, and over 4,000 square foot home is located in the heart of Ridgeland. This beautiful home is move-in ready with new roof. Master suite has jetted tub, granite double vanity tops, separate shower, walk-in closets, upgraded bathrooms, and new floors throughout the home. Call Delwyn Smith today, 601-499-0952 or 601-292-9073. W Real Estate, LLC.
And we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Diving into the world of marriage.
Yes. And look, hey, comment. If you have questions, please comment.
Yes.
We'll answer those questions as they come.
Yes.
Or you can call.
Exactly.
So if you have some questions, concerns, hey, give us a text or a comment.
Yes. So let's just dive right into that that triangle, because I kind of go back to the triangle every now and then.
Yeah, that was
so pivotal to me. I go back because it reminds me that was such a big question, was to determine what kind of relationship I had with God. And I have always prided myself in knowing that I talked to Him, I prayed to Him, but that was it. I never had the listening ear to Him.
Okay.
Until after we went through marriage counseling. I was always a person asking of God, but I never stayed still enough to hear from Him. And so in order for me to be married to a person like you, I got to hear from God a lot. You know what I mean? I do. I have to hear from God a lot, because we are two incredibly different people. Although we have a lot of likes and we have a lot of things that we share, we have a lot of things in common. We enjoy each other, but you are a different animal, and I'm a different animal. I'm a Bambi, and you a big old lion.
Leo
trying to attack me.
So that's that triangle that we are speaking of, triangle like that.
Yes.
But basically, You have the woman on one end, you have the man on one end, and you got God at the top.
At the top.
Okay? And if we both are seeking God, then we'll meet.
That's right.
Okay? Where we're supposed to meet.
You did a whole diagram.
I had to give it a visual. Give a little visual there. So what that said to us was, hey, I gotta have my own relationship.
Yes, Father.
With Christ.
Yes, so I can hear.
So I can be able to deal with my wife.
That's right. So I can receive instruction. I think what people don't recognize is that if you are married, right? I think one of the things about that diagram, well, it's two things. It's several things about there. The structure of the marriage, right? Starts with God being at the forefront and us looking to Him and then looking at one another. But that also brought into the fact of the order of marriage, because there was a lot of things in our world that was before you and I.
Out of order.
We were out of order. We were, it was me, then it was my kids, then it was my job, then it was my friends, then it was my mama, then it was my grandmother, my granddad, and then there you fell somewhere down in the middle.
And I think a lot of marriages fall into that trap.
Yes.
God is order.
That's right.
He's all about order.
That's right.
And when things are out of order, then
the devil has a way to come in.
The devil has a way to come in. So when we really grasped that order, to know that, hey, God
comes first.
He comes first.
Yes.
Before my wife.
Yes.
Before anything.
Yes.
It's my Lord and Savior.
Yes, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
My relationship. So we had to get that right.
We had to get that right. Yep.
Okay, first. My relationship with Christ, she had to get her own relationship with Christ together because the relationship was broken. You know, we didn't spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah, that's right.
Individually or corporately, you know. He wasn't a big part of our life then. And so that was one of the things that we worked on first.
That's right.
Was that relationship with Christ, right?
And I have to say this because we remember these things like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
When we were broken, y'all, we were real broken.
Oh yeah.
We were broke in half. I mean, we'll share the full testimony at some other time, but we were broken in half, and there was no communication between us either because I didn't want to be in the marriage. I was ready to check out.
I did.
And you were trying to stay in the marriage.
I mean,
right.
It's funny now. It wasn't funny then, but I started dressing different.
Yeah, it was
I was
so
like,
sad.
man, I said, well, she don't like me no more.
Right.
I said, well, maybe I need to start, I don't know.
Acting differently.
Yeah, I start wearing some,
baggy clothes and all kinds of stuff.
The white tees and stuff was in there.
Right. The Air Force Ones.
Air Force. I went and got me some Air Force Ones.
I was like,
man, I need to
this is such a
step my game. I done got lax or something. Watch your, But it really had absolutely nothing to do with that. It's just that we weren't the levels weren't there.
They weren't there. And so I remember one of the things that we're going to drop some tools along the way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Bishop told us immediately, he said, do y'all pray? And I was like, yeah, we pray. And he said, no, do you pray together? And I was like, yeah. I said, well, we could probably try that. And the first couple of sessions that we did, he said, I want y'all to practice praying daily, holding hands together. And mind you, there was no physical interaction between us, so the holding of the hands was a struggle.
And to pray, to actually hear each other pray or
for
try
each
to
other.
pray
right,
for each other.
For each other. It was just tough.
It was tough. And so we told Bitch, that's kind of tough right now. And he said, well, if it's tough, then just close your eyes and pray silently. Okay?
Right.
And so that's something you can do. If you're having trouble in your marriage, hey, if your husband or wife is willing, y'all start praying at night. And if it's too tough to pray out loud, start off praying in silence. Just hold hands, close your eyes, and pray. Okay?
And we would do that. We would stand there, and I remember you grabbing my hand, and I remember saying, Lord, can I just get through this? Because I just do not want Felix touching me. That was so crazy.
Well, I had already been in the closet, balled up. In the fetal position, praying anyway, so I was ready. I mean,
yeah, you were like, Bishop said it's time to pray. I was like, oh God, here he comes. And so what happened in that? Because I think this is a huge something people need to hear. What happened in that is I didn't have enough faith in my marriage, but you did. And so God strengthened the person who was trying the hardest.
Right.
To help the person who was trying the least. And I tell people that all the time. I say, you know what? Even if you're not strong enough, your spouse may have more faith, more due diligence than you ever would have. And you could pray the barriers off of your marriage. And so I remember him grabbing my hand, and I would stand there, and I would be so rebellious. I was so embarrassed to admit that I was so rebellious. And then I remember going to bed.
In the closet.
And then I remember going to bed, and I remember waking up in the morning time, and you would be on your knees praying for me.
Yeah, that's right.
And
be right at the foot of that bed.
And what happened in that is God answered your prayers.
Yeah.
And He was dealing with me.
And so I even remember, because
I ain't that bad, y'all.
No, sure. I went to war. I did. I went to war in prayer.
That's right. You went to war in prayer.
As I got closer to God, that was what He gave to me was to pray for her, pray for her. And I did that, and I watched her relationship with Christ strengthen and strengthen and strengthen to a level. I remember one time she said,
it was a trust issue, because I said to you, you're worried about the wrong things. If I'm gonna go out here and do something to you, that's you should understand that I'm not first gonna do it against God. I ain't really concerned about you.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said, I ain't really concerned about you.
did.
I'm concerned about my relationship with Christ.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay.
And you
so
were
I
so
guess
mad about that. You slammed the door and
so I
ran
guess
out.
that's good.
Yeah, but I was trying to say that what was happening, your prayers was convicting me. And so God was working on me day and night, because one thing about it, if you have a good relationship with Christ, he is going to show you yourself before he shows you your spouse. He is going to say to you, you are who I'm trying to get connected to, because you, my friend, has all the work that needs to be done. And so at the end of the day, I remember feeling like, gosh, I'm calling God out. I'm saying, look, man, you need to be fixing things. And he looked, I'll never forget it, small voices in my head. I'm working on you. I'm looking at what you did. I'm asking you to look to me. I'm trying to correct your wrongs. I need you to repent. Those were the things that God was working with me, which made me come around to a standpoint of saying, oh my gosh, my spouse has led me back to my true purpose in life, which was to serve out my salvation.
That's right.
That was so big to me.
And you know, God is so amazing. I mean, he will whoop your behind too. You know, when we look back at what he was doing, he was really more concerned first of our relationship with him. Yeah. And you know, I mean, we were in everything. Choir, ushers, you know, you name it, we were there. I mean, we were doing everything.
When we rededicated our life to him, once we recognized that he was saving the marriage, we rededicated ourselves to serve him.
And we needed him more and more.
Oh, we needed him so much more, because what we did not know was coming. The marriage, the foundation had some cracks in it. Right. And so we called old Shan. And they came and they poured some they readjusted some pilings, they put the foundation back together, and then we were now at the place of building the house back. And what we did not know was coming was the full-fledged collapse of the house itself. Of the old house itself. The old us standing on top of that new foundation was coming.
Right. God had to totally tear down our lives, strip away everything that we owned, or you know, you name it, he took it.
Because he couldn't put the same house on that new foundation. Right. He couldn't put the same house was not going to stand there. And so what he did, and what we say a lot of times, is that he started a pruning process, because what he wanted to go back on top of that foundation is something that was going to stand the test of time, so that we would be able to help other people to get to where they needed to be in marriage.
That's right.
And so one of the things that he did, he fixed the foundation, and then he started dealing with the two people that was the two powerhouses on top of the foundation. Because I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a powerhouse. You a powerhouse?
Of course.
Okay. So he had the two powerhouses on top of the foundation. And what he had to do was strip the power of the powerhouses. Because we were always thinking that it was our power and our might that was going to by our hands, that everything was going to sustain itself. And so what he did was stripped all the power from the two powerhouses and left us standing on top of foundation, only to be looking at him for the next, eons of our lives, to say that he was going to be the one that we'd be serving from here on out.
He did it. So the spiritual. Yes. As you analyze your marriage, what's wrong right now. Look at those three levels: spiritual, physical, emotional. Right. And see where y'all operate. You may not be operating on any of them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But if you only operating on one, that's where you are. Yeah. And so let's talk about the physical aspect.
Well, I've always been physically attracted to you. So I mean, that's number one. But we always had we didn't have the physical part of ourselves today. Like we had because we're grown. Let's just be grown on this call. We had the sexual part of the physical aspect and the attributes, but we didn't have loving on one another. Right. We didn't have the holding hands, the physical touch,
hands,
the hugs, the kiss, the walk off and have a long walk and just be there together, and and that kind of thing. We only had one aspect of that place. The same thing with emotional. We didn't really know how to deal with each other emotionally. If one was upset, the other one became upset because that one was upset. It's just stupid stuff. It's like, how did we, how am I trying to help you, but I'm getting upset that you're not revving up. You're not meeting those emotional needs.
So that physical is important.
Yes,
and physical
is
not just sex. No. It's like like I say, maybe holding hands or hugs. Kisses, physical touch. Those things are important in a marriage, and when it's not there, of course,
it's
that's
a void.
gone.
That's right.
We're coming up on
a break. We'll pick back up next, and we'll talk about, the emotional side of the marriage.
Hi, I'm FELIX Walker, Principal Broker here at W Real Estate LLC, and I'd like to thank you for visiting our webpage. Here at W Real Estate, we're a full-service brokerage. We specialize in residential, commercial, land, and property management.
We are located in Madison, Mississippi, serving the needs of all Mississippi residents. W Real Estate is a faith-based real estate firm. We believe in the power of prayer. We believe that God set this company aside to be a servant to others in the real estate industry. We believe in seeing miracles happen right here in the forum of real estate. So trust us and call us today, because that is our belief, is that we are God's servants.
W Real Estate is a company of trust, a company of integrity. We believe in doing the right thing at all times. At the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's about serving the needs of our clients. We're going to take the time to sit down and educate you on the entire buying process. We won't just throw you in our car and go look at houses. We want to bring you into our office, sit down, answer any questions you may have to help you understand the entire buying process.
Purchasing a home is a very exciting time, but it also can be kind of stressful. That is where we come in. We take away your stress. We work with you from start to finish, from finding that perfect home, contracting, negotiating the sale to best benefit you the most, to staying with you along the whole process so that you seamlessly go right into closing with no stress at all. That is one of the main reasons that you want to hire us to represent you in purchasing a home.
We're listing specialists. We're performance-based. Our main goal is to help our sellers get the most amount of money for their homes in the least amount of time.
Not only are we listing specialists, we are marketing specialists. We employ aggressive marketing strategies to get your home sold fast. We communicate with our sellers often to keep them in loop of what's going on with their property. We also are relocation specialists. A lot of our sellers are not just trying to stay in town, they're trying to relocate to other areas. We take on the ownership of maximizing our efforts to bring you to close.
Thanks again for visiting our website. Feel free to contact us or one of our experienced agents today.
Remember, God is the heart of our business. We look forward to working with you soon.
And we're back.
Babe, I think you like saying that.
I do.
And we're back.
I do. I do.
Scooby-Doo.
All right. What? Oh, my God. All right. So, wow. I mean,
I watched the Flintstones the other day. I was pretty intrigued.
Yeah, it does come on. Anyway.
Right.
All right. So,
back talking about emotional.
All right. Let's talk about the emotional level. We're talking about physical.
We talk about spiritual, physical. Jump into the emotional
level.
Yes.
Getting into each other's world.
Yes.
All right. So,
yes.
And we'll talk about ourselves here.
Mm-hmm.
So, during that time, again, I was, focused on, hey, let me just make some money, then I should have a happy wife. Well, that's not true at all. That's not necessarily true. They have emotions, I have emotions, we have needs or whatever. And so my day would look like go to work, do my business, whatever, get home, go to my office, okay? Sit there to 10 or so o'clock because I just, I enjoy being in there. I had TV and everything in there. And then, take a bath or eat whatever and go to bed.
Yeah.
And so she had her own stuff she was doing. So it was just almost a totally separate life. We weren't really in each other's worlds.
No.
You didn't ask about my day or, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't in your world, especially during football season or something.
Oh yeah, don't even worry about
so
that.
So I'm totally into my Saints
any season of sport. Let's just start there. You somebody watch sports all year long.
And she would be
I'd be in Lifetime,
somewhere doing something like that.
Right.
And
And I had the kids.
If your
so
marriage is not healthy, then
Right.
it may not can deal with that.
It can't sustain. It can't take that kind of pressure.
That kind of pressure. So we had to get into each other's world.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the reasons Rashida is a big time Saints fan right now was because she got into my world.
That's right.
So you can't, we can't just point the finger and say, well, all he want to do is watch football. Well, you go in there, all right, and sit down and watch the game with it.
And it kind of started a little bit before then, because one of the things that we did first too was we had intentional time, because we recognized that we didn't have any intentional time. It was in a marriage, you have to have some things, just like you do with your business and your kids, and you schedule everything else. You have to schedule some time with your spouse.
Yeah, we had to force ourselves to do certain things,
and we had to force ourselves to have a calendar. You remember this? We had a calendar entry on our calendar every single week that nobody, the children, work. It was a date. It was a lunch date.
A lunch date.
And you could not, nothing could come in front of it. And it was big because it also taught us how to put each other first.
Right. Exactly.
And so we in the lunch date, it was adventurous. You remember we used to say, well, it's my turn to pick the place.
Right.
And it could be that we would go to a picnic and we would have sandwiches that I would prepare, or you would say, well, meet me here at 11:30, and I didn't know where I was coming to, and we got excited about that.
Right.
And that lunch meeting, we could not talk about children, family, friends,
you had to turn your
work.
phone
You had to turn your phone off and only focus on each other.
And so we were forced to talk about talk to each other.
Yeah, to talk about each other. And it was almost like, and I hate to cut you off, it was almost as if I remember the plan was to go back to when we first originally met and we first fell in love, and we were going to go back to that place before we had kids, before we had an office, before we had business, that we would literally spend some time just dating.
Just dating. You had to date again.
Yeah, dating.
You when you first get married, you have all the bliss. Yeah, you have your honeymoon and you're excited. But think about 10 years into that.
That's right.
There's so much stuff that you take for granted.
Yes.
And so forth, and you lose sight of the intentional things that the other person needs. And so the lunch date.
The lunch date was big.
It was a weekly, and this is something you can do.
There's another tool. Intentional dating.
Intentional dating. All right. Rules of engagement. One person can pick the place. Y'all take turns picking the place. It doesn't have to be expensive. You come up with a day.
Yeah.
All right. And a time. And this is a predetermined appointment. Nothing, can get in the way of that.
That's right.
So you can't schedule anything. We couldn't schedule anything. So we had
I remember people saying, well, can you do on Tuesday at 11? I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't.
I've got
an appointment. And nobody knew the appointment was you.
Right.
But that really grew us. Because the other thing that did, because people don't recognize today, we date all the time now.
Right.
I mean,
but it's something we didn't do.
But what ended up happening is something that you did intentionally became organic, something that you would just became an organic, subconsciously that you just did it. And that you enjoyed it.
We out all the time now.
That's right.
Together, but before that, we did everything separate.
That's right.
She would go with her friends, I go with my friends.
That's right.
Out to eat, whatever. That's what we did. And until we started intentionally doing things together, putting the marriage first, then it became unintentional.
That's right.
It's
a natural recourse.
Even and we're talking about order here. Building that relationship with God. In the beginning, it was intentional.
Yeah.
I'm going to church on Sunday, whether I want to or not.
That's right.
I'm just going.
Right.
I don't care. I'm going. Rain, sleet, I'm going. So it was intentional.
Right.
And when we got there, we got fed.
Yeah.
We got fed. Yeah. And then we started getting involved and so forth. And now what used to be intentional is unintentional. It's just
now we can't get there fast enough because it's where we release our praise.
It's a part of your life.
That's right. It becomes a part of your life.
So get into each other's world, and I talked about you began to now she sit over there. She what's that? Why you throw the ball in? Like he threw an interception. Be quiet.
And then I get mad.
But I was happy to, but she was able to experience why I liked it so much, and then she got into it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I got into her world.
Yeah.
You know, so
You used to
she'd be
come
watching
on
Lifetime
Sunday night,
or
on
something.
Sunday afternoons, and I would watch Lifetime movies back to back.
I go sit in the bed with her, and we'd watch that movie, and I'd be like, man, this is, don't you tell nobody I'm watching it, but this is
But
the
you would
best
be crying and all
movie
kind of stuff.
ever.
You would be crying.
This is the best.
Right, you'd be crying and everything. And then
so I'm
but
like,
we
man, it's
kind of
crazy.
got
It's a
it.
good
But that
movie.
was intentional, and it really brought us together at a time that we needed to be together, because I keep coming back to the notion that the powerhouses are collapsing.
Right.
The power is being stripped from the two powerhouses, and God is now inserting his power over our lives.
Exactly.
And so things that used to matter to us a lot, that emotional side, a lot of that was stripped away because we were forced to be with each other and be happy to find the joys amongst all the trouble that was coming in each other.
Right.
Because we needed each other. Nobody could understand the storms of life that was coming and how we would be able to stand there together and not collapse individually, that we were able to stay together because we had each other. So God was building back the marriage before he stripped us clean.
And so going back to the order, and I'm big on that. God first.
Yes.
So got that straight.
Yes.
You know, and kept it straight.
Yes.
I gotta have my unilateral relationship with him, and then after him, it's my wife.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's is God. Then next in line. Is my spouse.
Right.
Okay?
That's
not my mama.
Yeah.
Not my daddy. Not my kids.
Yes.
Not my grandkids.
Yeah.
It's her.
It's you. That's
and,
right.
And I'm giving, you married out there and you having some trouble. Look at the order. Who are you putting in front of your spouse?
That's right.
Is it your mom?
That's right.
Is it your dad?
Yeah.
Is it your children?
That's right.
Is it is it golf? Is it something else? And it's out of order. And if it's out of order, guess what? It's going to fail.
Yeah.
And so that's something we had to also learn, and that's not easy. It's not easy
and I think it's a learning curve, and it's something you work on all the time.
You work on all the time.
You don't just have it and say, okay, I got it now. You're intentional about making sure things on. When we have trouble, it's because something's out of order.
Something's out of order.
It's like a part of the puzzle that's supposed to be on the top is now on the bottom, and we got to figure out how to rearrange things.
Right.
And so I think what's important as a wife is recognizing my order.
Right.
Because I think it's important. I learned this too that really has blessed my marriage, because a lot of people don't really want to see themselves as I'm a strong woman. And I came from a lineage of strong women.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
That you couldn't really tell that we ran, kicked indoors, ran away. Right? I had to learn order from the standpoint of what God desired for my marriage. That my husband had some headship over me.
Right.
And not to say that you were rule and reign. It's just
people get that mixed up.
People get it mixed up. But here's the way I understand it from and this is my biblical understanding, is that some things are going to be released through the head. I say this all the time. You are the head. He gives you that authority to be head of the household, right?
Right.
It's not to say that you're just going to rule and reign and have your way, because if you're in Christ, you're going to operate like Christ.
That's right.
You're going to receive from Christ. So it's easy for me to not fight against the Christ that's in you.
Right.
Now I can fight all day long with the devil in you.
Right.
But it's hard for me to fight with the Christ that's in you, because here's the thing. There's certain things that the Lord is going to release to me through the head.
And that's in the Bible. A lot of people have issues with that, whatever it says. Wives, submit yourselves to your husband.
That's right.
But they don't read the rest of it. It says, husbands, love your wife.
That's right. That's right. That's
so
right. That's right.
Even when people think of submit, they think of one being
superior to the other. That's right.
It's all positioning.
It's all positioning.
It's position. You're on the same team.
Babe. That's
right?
it. That is it.
We're a team.
Yes.
Right? And here's your position on the team.
That's right.
Here's my position on the team. Here's my function. Here's your function.
That's right.
And together, we win.
That's right. Because sometimes the quarterback head changes.
Right. And
sometimes the positioning changes because that's the way the Lord has designed it to be. But what you never do is get out of the order of what He has designed the marriage to operate under. The principles of that.
And to be honest, for those that have a problem with that, submit, blah, 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 really understanding what the burden really, when God says to the man, hey, love your wives.
That's right.
And if you really understand all that love is,
that's right.
And God is love, right?
That's right.
And all that love is, I mean, we got more to work.
Right.
And so if both parties are doing what they're supposed to do, then there's no lack.
That's right.
Right.
Because you then become, what we're going to talk about next, is where you get to the joys of marriage, where you find yourself trying to outserve the other.
Right.
And so that no needs go unmet.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm submitting, but I'm also submitting to Christ.
You submitting to Christ first.
I'm submitting to Christ first.
Right.
And so it's very easy for me to, and submission is...
Don't get it twisted like a slave.
Yes, it's no slave mentality. It's the fact that the Lord's will and your will are operating in the same place, and I'm submitting to it.
Headed to a break.
It is over. However, you don't want to miss this lovely home in Madison's prestigious North Bay subdivision, 702 North Bay Drive. The amount of space is overwhelming. If you're looking for a formal living and dining, a massive family room, a huge and fully updated kitchen with island, then you're in luck. The size of the jetted tub is ridiculous, and the walk-in closet attached to the master bedroom goes on for days. Come see for yourself. Call Devin Boone, W Real Estate LLC, 601-499-0952 or 601-460-1253. W Real Estate LLC.
Stunning 6230 Berrywood Drive is appointed on a quiet and highly desirable street, offering an unprecedented perspective on luxury living and most sought-after lakeover. Constructed in 1993, this one-owner custom home is of exceptional building quality and timeless luxurious finishes. 5 spacious bedroom suites, 3 full baths, and 1 half bath. This one is sure to please all of your needs. Private, expansive home site is positioned nicely on a corner lot with extensive tree-lined backyard and well-manicured lawn. Please call Rashida Walker at W Real Estate, 601-499-0952 or 601-573-1866. W Real Estate, LLC.
And we're back.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that's the best thing ever to say.
Apparently you enjoying it.
And we're back. All right. So
we're talking about the beauty of marriage. Let's get into the beauty of marriage.
We've given some tools just in conclusion, in a sense,
Yes.
Analyze your marriage, emotional level, spiritual level, physical level, see how you're operating.
Yeah.
And then order.
Yeah.
Am I putting God first? Does my spouse come next? Then my children?
Yeah.
And everything else. Right?
Yeah. That's exactly right. And and what bursts out of that, what comes out of pain is a lot of times joy.
It is joy.
Because I think the beauty of the marriage now is that when he grows you up in marriage, because you could be in a situation where you're still trying to figure it out. You haven't mastered it, and I don't think that you ever master it. But at the end of the day, the order has not yet been set. And so you're trying to build it, right? Well, I say take your hands off of it and let God build it. That's number one. But when you get to the beautiful place of marriage, it is nothing like it.
It's nothing like it.
It's nothing like it. Because there comes the joys and the laughter and the let's talk about out serving each other. And we got to this place. We had a checkup with Bishop a couple of years. It was probably, I would say that was probably year 5 after were putting ourselves back together.
Right.
And we had started because we had during some of the testimonies that we lost everything financially during the collapse of the marriage. He was building everything back in terms of the marriage, sitting on that foundation, and then he cleared the house. Right. So he took everything away from us. So the only thing we could really focus on was each other and him. Right. And so after things started taking a turn for the better, we started experiencing some growing pains. We started because our business was going back up, was building back up. We had some clout in the marketplace. And there we find ourselves fighting some, just kind of, just hitting the miss, you know what I'm saying? And so we went, I scheduled a meeting. I said, oh no, I've been here before. I'm going to see my counselor.
Okay.
Right.
I relate marriage to business and then, but you got to continue to work on it, even though I would put our marriage now at a very healthy state.
Yes.
And
The odometer says we're on the healthy side. Yeah.
But we still have to work on it.
That's right.
And I think people might think that we perfect or whatever.
And there's no perfect marriage.
But
no.
We just argued. When was that? We had that big.
It was
Sunday?
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Tuesday morning. In the bathroom, getting dressed. We got on something and it got loud and we had an intense time of fellowship. And then I look over there, this fool laughing like that. And then I started laughing.
Well, I caused the argument.
And we said, we're yelling. And
I had let you have it. And then some kind of way, what made me laugh is I had gone off on you. And then you were sitting there trying to hold it back. And then you just went lost it. You started hollering. And then when I looked at the mirror on your side of the bathroom, my scarf had come over my eyes like it was Picasso. And so when I looked at the mirror, the scarf was down like this. And I just looked back at you. And you said, you crazy fool. And I looked back at the mirror. And I said, oh, my God. And I just laughed. And what broke the mold was that because here's the thing. One of the things I can testify and say is that we've learned how to fight.
Right.
We don't take ourselves too serious because it's got to be one person in the relationships that pulls up. That's a good tool. When you have an intense time of fellowship. Somebody's got to have some sense.
Somebody got to come out of it.
Right. Somebody got to come out of it and say, okay, well,
I'm gonna take it because I'm after peace. Somebody
has to be after peace.
Be the bigger person.
That's right. And that's a good way of saying it. Somebody has to be after peace. And so I think where we are now in the beautiful things of marriage it's figuring out how to do that. It's also I was going back to the point when we went to see Bishop and I said, he looked at us and he laughed. And he said, y'all, he's
and I'm having some growing pains.
I said, he won't give me any accolades. I'm selling the stuff. He won't tell me that I'm doing a good job. And he looked at us and he laughed and he said, looks like y'all dealing with some growing pains. He said, now let me just say something. He looked at us. He said, what's funny? Y'all in competition and the money is coming into the same house. Do you remember that, babe? He started laughing at us.
Right.
And so we recognized then that one of the things that we recognized profoundly is that if the devil has an end, he'll come.
He'll come.
If you are not sealed, it's just like a house with leaks. If you had a plumbing leak, if you don't fix that leak, it's going to grow into a larger leak, and the next thing you know, it's going to be a pipe that's going to bust.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
And so we had to be conscious that even though we would get into a healthy state, the devil is still after us.
Still, to this day.
And he would love to have his way to take us out.
Just that argument the other day.
That's exactly right.
How we dealt with it.
That's right. How we win.
She started laughing, profusely laughing. Then I started laughing. We called each other crazy.
And went on about our day.
We prayed, kissed, and went on about our day. Never thought of it back again. No big deal.
And I think the other thing that keeps the devil at bay is prayer. We start most days often in prayer together.
Praying for other people.
And then praying for us and our marriage, our children. But it's hard to be in strife with your spouse if you sat and prayed before the day started.
Intentional.
I'm just going to be honest with you.
That's those intentional things.
Yeah, too.
Because it's hard to be mad.
Oh, it's hard to be mad.
If I'm going to hold her hand and we're going to pray.
Yeah. Prayer breaks all kinds of
I can't pray with her and then next thing you know I'm mad.
Right. And then I think knowing your love language. Here's another tool we had to learn.
Love language.
That's
a good book too. It's a book called the 5 Love Languages. That's a great book to get if you're a married couple and you want to deal with go into a book study.
Yeah, and because we had to learn each other's love language.
We had to learn each other's love language and the love language is what the other person's likes.
That's right.
Maybe scratches her itch or makes her feel good and we have many different love languages.
Yeah, like sometimes I remember one time because I think one of the love languages is giving gifts.
It was giving gifts for you.
Yeah.
And then your other one was it acknowledgement? It's something.
Yes.
What is it called?
Yeah. Telling me I'm the best.
Right. All right. So she likes that.
And then yours was respect.
Mine was respect.
I don't remember the second one, but I remember respect.
But that was that was a big. I like
like being respected.
Yeah.
And so we learned how to do that really well, and those are things that stay with us for life. That really helps the marriage run.
What was intentional becomes unintentional.
That's right.
You don't
That's
even
exactly
know you're doing it anymore.
Dating, we talked about dating, that you got to be intentional in dating. You know, we went on that trip and we just let the world fall to the wayside. But it's also communicating in that, you know, to be able to say.
Oh, you said a good communication.
Communication
definitely want to talk about that.
And that may be a whole show before we even, that may be a whole different
let's
segment.
talk a little bit quickly about effective communication,
That's
how
right.
to communicate. You got to learn how to communicate with each other and effectively. You got to know, and you know, as a married couple, you know each other.
That's right.
She knows how to push my button. I know how to push hers.
Don't you?
You know, and so
sometimes you just lay down on
there,
that button.
there's a way. There's an effective way to communicate, and that's very important.
Yeah.
How I communicate with my wife,
That's
right?
right.
Even in an argument, I can't, you know, if I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah, the finger pointing.
Does that not make you, I ain't even saying nothing, but I'm doing that right there?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. A whole nother emotion.
A whole nother emotion I'm setting off by doing this,
That's right.
So
yeah.
let me
bend
not,
your whole finger back.
So let me not communicate with my finger, even if we are going to say, you know.
You're right.
And trigger words like you.
Yes.
You know, you did this, you did it, you know, such and
That's
such.
good,
and
babe.
instead, you know, you want to say some words if you have to say something, you know, this is how that made me feel.
Right.
The other day when this happened, you know, this is how it made me feel. So you really, and taking time to think about what you're preparing to say.
Before saying it.
Before saying it.
Because some things you can't take back.
Right, and sometimes God will take it away
That's
from
right.
you.
Sometimes I wanted to say
you ain't gonna even say
and
that.
I can't say anything, and it's best to me just to be quiet. You know, why did you laugh at that? I practice that a lot.
I'm good.
But I also think one of the big things that we battle with and that we conquered, I think, is battling false expectations and assumptions.
False expectations.
You can't really assume. It's just like, you know, if in every marriage you're gonna bring in baggage, right? I'm gonna bring in baggage because of how I was raised, what I came from. You're gonna bring in baggage.
What I'm expecting
what you're expecting me to be. That's exactly right. And so when you clear all that out, and you really have to communicate effectively to say, hey, I really would like not to have to pull the garbage cans in.
Right.
You know. But, you know, now we're over that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, if that is an expectation of you, of your spouse,
and I don't know,
and you don't know it, I can't be mad at you.
Can't be mad at me if I didn't know that was right.
Right. I never said, "Felix, I want you to pull all the garbage cans in."
Effective communication. You got to let your spouse know what your expectations is.
That's right.
And y'all get on the same page.
That's
with
right.
it,
That's
you
right.
know. And then, you know, where you having some trouble will cease to be trouble.
That's right. Because right now we find ourselves in a lot of, we don't take each other seriously. That's the other thing.
You gotta laugh. Laugh at each other.
Laugh at each other.
Don't take yourself so seriously.
You know, so that you can enjoy the marriage.
Enjoy the marriage.
Yes.
That's the thing. Laugh.
Yes.
Do some laughing. Don't be stone faced, I'm a man type deal.
Yeah.
You know. Have fun.
Right, have fun.
Right.
You know, a lot of times because people don't recognize this, like you said earlier in the show, we're together all the time. And sometimes I have to say to you, we have to have a conversation and say, hey, when I get home, I don't want to talk about real estate. I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear.
And I have to respect that. But see, she communicated that.
That's right.
Right. So if she didn't communicate that, then I don't know. So I'm gonna just talk about it. Next thing you know, she pissed off, and I don't know why she mad. Because she didn't communicate.
Right. But
so
I communicated well now, don't I, babe?
You do.
Okay.
We're coming to the end of our talking about marriage, and man, we probably have to do this again.
Yeah, we'll have one or two. You know, we'll come back with real estate, then we'll come back and then break some of these topics down one by one.
Keep that in mind. Hey, emotional, physical, spiritual, those are the levels you operate on, and especially order. God first, your spouse second, kids. Yeah. Everything else after that.
And it's important.
And watch your marriage grow.
And if you need some help, don't be ashamed to reach out. Don't be ashamed. You know? We're marriage counselors. Don't be ashamed to reach out and say, hey, I need some help.
Get some help.
You know, get some help.
And hold hands. See that? Look at that.
We win.
Right.
We win.
She used to want to hold my hand. Y'all be blessed. No, hold my hand.